From a wholesome moment with Joe Rogan and Jiri all the way over to something as crazy as Brian Ortega actually finding somebody because he lost to him in Fortnite, we are going to be taking a look at everything that hit the Explore page over on X today. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's get right into it. The first clip we have over here from Dovey, Joe Rogan experience with, and this is of course a quote from Spinning Backfist. The best part of the Joe Rogan podcast is when Joe asks him if he watches film on his opponents, and then Jiri just lists a bunch of movies that he's watched. Of course, a little bit of an issue with the language barrier, but it also made for a really, really wholesome moment. I'm sure that you guys have seen this at this point. This kind of took over the world when the Jiri podcast dropped.
Hey, do you watch a lot of film? Do you watch videos of fights?
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
I was 5 days sick before the fight, so I just watched the Spartans 300.
And you know what's really cool about it? I like that Jiri gets actually really excited for this, and the best part about it, which I typically, guys, if you're new to this channel, by the way, we have unique reactions to everything over here, but this was one that I inserted myself, and something that we're going to get into for replies. It's cool that Joe Rogan doesn't make it awkward, the language barrier here, just continues on with
Ong Bak, I watched Ong Bak one. Man,
that's wild shit.
Man, no wild shit, but I was really inspired. I was really hungry to see something, because long time I didn't see some not good movie. Doesn't matter if it's good or new, but these old classics.
And you could just tell, man, obviously it's not shocking to any of us that Jiri Prochazka's into this stuff. It's almost like he just lives by that warrior code, right? He's a samurai.
I think Jean-Claude Van Damme with kickboxer and all these things.
Oh yeah,
that's what
and all of that here. I'll let him finish his point.
Made a spark inside me.
And it's funny how all of that actually came. And I haven't watched the whole podcast yet, but everybody was saying it was a banger. It's funny how that came from Joe Rogan asking him if he ended up studying his opponent's tapes. Let's take a look at a couple replies to that. Finished it about an hour ago. No politics, just martial arts. Great episode. Yeah, apparently this episode was one to watch for the Joe Rogan experience, but I haven't personally checked it out yet. I intend on doing it. Joe is a G. He didn't want to make him feel embarrassed. He let him finish, then rephrased the question. That's very nice, man. This is the reply that I was talking about. I love the fact that he didn't make Jiri feel awkward, because Jiri is doing a very good job learning the language. He's coming as a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he ended up talking about some movies that he liked. So no harm done, made for a very, very wholesome moment. I just think about, did Jiri Prochazka come across this on social media now going, wow, Joe Rogan was just teasing me with it, okay? Adam Ian had this to say. He thought Joe Rogan was asking him if he was watching movies. That's what watching film means in Czech. I didn't know that. Very interesting. Very interesting. I guess that makes sense, though, in watching film, right? it technically still is a film, so he didn't answer the question correctly. Let's continue on talking about the Pentagon of Violence. Championship Rounds posted this. Dan Hooker on why his fight against Justin Gaethje is 5 rounds. I think the UFC wants someone to die. They want to see someone go down. They want to see blood. They want to see rounds 4 and 5. Now, this is just literally one of those fights that you have to see it in 5 rounds. There's no chance. I don't want to say no chance that they will go to decision, but there's no chance that this fight isn't fireworks. This is going to be one of the greatest fights we've ever seen. Two guys that are never in boring fights. Crazy. The Combat Sports Matrixer replied and had this to say. All co-main events and title eliminators should be 5 rounds. There are many recent instances where high-level fights have been 3 rounds. Example, Arman versus Charles or Hamzat versus Usman. But if they would have been 5 rounds, we could have seen a different result. The UFC needs to make this a thing. I agree with that. I've always agreed, I don't even think that, it's necessarily just has to be any title eliminator fight. Don't get me wrong, if a title eliminator fight appears, anywhere on the card, yeah, you know what, make it 5 rounds. But I'll take you a step further. I think you should make it a co-main event and a featured bout. At the very least, the co-main event should be 5 rounds. Why not? The co-main event oftentimes is, the second best fight on the card. But I don't see why this isn't something that the UFC would want to get a little bit into. But let's continue on over to MMA Orbit. I've seen this. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Very, very weird. Okay? Chito Vera, modeled for Willie Chavaria, and I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, guys. At the Paris Fashion Week show over the weekend. This is crazy. Check this out. Okay, sorry if you can hear my notification there. And I'm just gonna end up muting that. But Chito Vera ends up walking up. Look at him. Look at him. It seems just so out of place for Chito. I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of people have been memeing about it and going oh, look at Chito just doing some side quests over here. But I don't know. Just like out of everybody doing this, I wouldn't have necessarily expected Cheeto Vera to go do this. Cheeto, a chill guy, man. Cheeto's pretty well just getting memed at this point about it. Cheeto, there you go. Just like this user said, Charlie, Cheeto's doing side quests 100%. Oh, one of the best memes of all time. Sean O'Malley, when he sees this.
It should have been me, not him. It's not fair.
It actually that actually fits Sean O'Malley. Like, I can actually see him looking at this and going like, really? But now Sean O'Malley is calling out Cheeto Vera again, which is nuts. Regardless, okay, if you guys haven't seen this, apparently the MMA guru got banned from Fight Pass. I don't know how. I don't want to say I don't know why, but it's interesting that they actually took it a step this far, because the MMA guru does have a ton of influence in the UFC community, and it just wouldn't shock me if Dana White sat down and was like, all right, figure out what this goof's account is and ban him. I can even say him just like goof, and then you can see just no. I need to see Dana White actually speak up on that. That'd be so funny. LMFAO, Piggy, you're cooked. Yeah, and apparently he hasn't been reinstated on Fight Pass. I don't see why the MMA guru would lie about this, but apparently he's actually banned from Fight Pass. Damn, they're finally cracking down on Biggie Up after so long. The final Adesanya loss took the cake. How did they even find your account? I'm sure that they could do it, to be honest with you. He has nearly 80k followers. No, but like the Fight Pass account he probably went. How do you find the UFC Fight Pass account? Exactly, right? I would imagine it wouldn't be that hard. You know, his username is probably something like MMA Guru too. Could you imagine they're looking to ban the MMA Guru and somebody else is just using that username and they just ban him for good? Let's continue on though. Ben Davis, got to be the best key to victory in a UFC fight. Dude, okay, I know what's coming before I scroll down. I know exactly what's coming. My dad and I laughed so hard when this came on screen. Yup. And this has happened more. I want to say, like, if it wasn't this specific one, something like this has actually like Daniel Cormier's written something like that before. Tony Ferguson, Daniel's keys to victory: use punches to close a distance, be violent. And the third tip: remember who you are. Yeah, that's great advice, Daniel Cormier. Let Tony Ferguson remember who he is. He probably forgot. Like, I love Daniel Cormier, and I think he gives great advice, and I think he's a fantastic commentator. But man, like. We had the whole house laughing whenever, like, we looked at that. We're like, oh my God, Daniel Cormier really just wrote for a tip for Tony Ferguson. Remember who you are. Man, it's crazy. Hopefully Dana hires Tony Ferguson to be announcer, just like Daniel Cormier for the UFC, instead of him getting even greater CETE. And I have to agree with Ben Davis on this one. Tony wouldn't be a good color commentator. I don't think he'd be a good commentator in general, to be honest with you. Clint McLean had this to say. Yo, DC was like, literally, like, I don't know what was going through his head as he was writing that down. Like, I just don't get it, man. It brought back some really funny moments, okay? Casual MMA had this to say. You should also add, give himself a chance. DC says that 5 times per night. Am I the only one who doesn't like his comments? Dude is biased as hell, eats and checks his phone during transmissions and interviews. I enjoy Daniel Cormier. I think he provides a lot of value, but I haven't really paid attention to the give himself a chance thing. I don't know. I will certainly be paying more attention to that moving forward to the commentary, though. Let's continue on. There was a quote tweet over by Monrick. They can never make me hate TJ, and Lyric had this to say about it. Maturing as an MMA fan is having a deep appreciation and respect for TJ. No one else owned up to it when they got caught. Only him. Always some crappy excuse. My tainted supplements BS. Hell of a fighter. All around to boot. Let's see like what this video is. If it's just a regular TJ Dillashaw video, then we're not going to watch it. Okay, we're going to mute that. It's probably just a TJ edit. I would imagine so. Yeah, it's just a TJ edit. So I've actually spoken about this in a recent video, and I was very disappointed in TJ Dillashaw when he popped for EPO, because TJ Dillashaw was a huge inspiration to me in my fighting career, because I spent a ton of time studying the tape of TJ Dillashaw, studying his footwork. I have modeled my own MMA style after TJ Dillashaw. So when he popped, when he figured out that he was cheating, or the public figured it out, I was very, very disappointed. But the problem is, as much as I don't respect the fact that he cheated, he has still had a huge effect on my life because the style is effective. I'm hoping that he wasn't juicing his entire career, but I mean, like, you never really will figure it out, right? And I know that people are going to, oh, well, he only popped for this one fight. I don't know. But I've been even enjoying him even in recent times on the Rampage Jackson podcast. He has a great analytical take. Like, he's still a really, really solid dude. And I can't help but still appreciate him. I'm just like super disappointed about it, man. Like my appreciation for TJ is still there. Again, like there's no fighter like TJ Dillashaw that had like an actual effect on my life. I've studied him for years, and it's worked, man. It's worked. I can't help it. I can't help it. As much as I don't respect cheaters, I can't help but like TJ Dillashaw. Bendy Straw had this to say about it. He had to admit it. You literally cannot excuse EPO. It has to be injected, which is, it's true, but at the end of the day, there still would be people like denying it and saying something is wrong or being silent about it. TJ actually sat down, and as much as I don't respect the cheating, like I know that he technically kind of had to admit it, but he sat down and said, I was willing to do anything to be the best, and here I am. I cheated. I messed up. Okay, let's continue on to Yoel's fused neck. Also, Uriah and Cody were so stupid for getting so upset for him for simply switching gyms. They didn't even have a head coach when they did. TJ won his belt. So yeah, and Dwayne Ludwig is fantastic at what he does too. Like absolutely nothing to take away from that gym over there. Roundtree also owned up to it, but yes, TJ's overhated. But did Roundtree admit to it? I think he just owned up to having a tainted supplement, which is what most fighters do. I mean, it's always possible, and you'll never really figure it out, right? But as far as I know, which I could be wrong, comment down below if I am wrong, I didn't see Khalil Roundtree just flat out admitting to cheating. I see a lot of people just appreciating him. Well, Chael was also pretty open about it as well. Yeah. Chael did the best way to cheat, man. Like, because he's just like, yeah, I cheated. Yeah, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to beat this guy. And I do remember him saying something like this. I wouldn't put something in my body if I didn't think it would enhance my performance. Chael P. Sutton. Chael went the best way about it. Meme culture. Meme culture is taken over, and Chael Sutton was the first to actually like get a handle on that. And he's the only fighter where he was cheating and people were okay with it. And he would just like talk about it. I was juiced up. I was this. I was that. I had every drug in my body, and I went out there and fight. And everybody's like, yeah, Chael's the best. And myself included. Chael Sutton's my favorite fighter. Nobody cares that he cheats. And you know what's funny about this too is TJ Dillashaw, while he's not as smart as Chael to like hack that meme culture, TJ Dillashaw's kind of turning the crowd on him now, because now you have the meme with TJ Dillashaw where it's like, you'll never be good enough. You'll never be a UFC champion. When you had Anthony Smith and, oh my God, I'm having a huge blank. Who else was it now? Just Anthony Smith. Wow. I just had it in my brain. That's going to bother me. Regardless, it just happened with two fighters where TJ Dillashaw's like, nope, he's never going to be a champion. You're not good enough. And then you spawn all of the memes where it's like TJ Dillashaw talking to his 4-year-old kid. You're never going to graduate high school. Like, and you can't help but laugh at all of these. Like, MMA meme culture is some of the greatest things to ever come from the sport, okay? But let's continue on. Enough about TJ, enough about cheating, okay? Dovey posted this. DDP reacts to bringing Whitaker and Adesanya together. I saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but DDP being wholesome.
And straight away, he just went. So he's just weird, man. He's like the best shit fighter in the world. Like,
and I know that Adesanya is saying that as a dig, but it's actually true. What does he do that's like proper technique? I was just arguing with my dad actually about who's going to win, because my dad is supremely confident that Sean Strickland's going to win. I'm like, no, I'm done doubting DDP. Yeah, his jaw's hanging down on the floor. Yeah, he swings from his hips and it's his wild overhand. Yeah, all of a sudden he just crashes into you like a bull and you fall over, but he gets the job done. He is the best, worst fighter of all time, and he keeps winning. He just beat Adesanya, he just beat Whitaker, he just beat Strickland. That resume alone is phenomenal, and this guy just keeps winning, and I think he's going to win again.
First 30 seconds, I was like, dude, he's so slow. Like, you know what I mean?
it's like out of nowhere. Like, I'm like, bro, he just...
Dude, but then, like, then I got punched in the face.
Well, I mean, look at me bringing people together.
He's so good, man. He's so good. DDP is slowly becoming one of my favorite fighters to watch.
I think that Adesanya and Whitaker ever had real...
Oh, we can't show that. We can't show that. We can't show that. Let's see. Oh, they're going to show the entire clip, aren't they? All right, there we go.
Careers, I think it's two different spaces, and that's why they are able to now train together, because for them, they're not going to fight each other again. So it's amazing to see. I mean, the sport is incredible because you always see these kind of things happen.
And it's crazy that he just didn't care about what they said, too. It's almost like he agreed with it, but he's like, yep, I beat both of them. I steamrolled both of them. What's that matter, right? It's so strange to me, but DDP, wholesome interaction, funny guy. Let's continue on. DDP is a puzzle that nobody can work out. I'm sure eventually it'll work out, but I kind of agree with the comment over here. If Hamzat's not able to figure him out, then I'm crashing out. Dude, at this point, like, if you were to tell me right now who's going to win, gun to my head, DDP or Hamzat Chimaev, I'm picking DDP just because for some reason he's going to make it work. Like, Hamzat Chimaev's going to go for a takedown. DDP's just going to, like, sprawl and they're both going to fall over and somehow DDP is going to end up like snatching up a Darce choke or something. It's so weird. Oh boy. My reaction. I can't believe he actually did that, dude. I can't believe he actually ended up doing that. Look at this. He had Israel Adesanya cry. It never gets old. It never gets old. Look at that. And why is he wiping his tears like that too? That's like the most, dude, I hate to say it, but it's like my kid wiping their tears away. You know, like that over exaggerated like eye rub that they do? Like, he is straight up crying because Dricus du Plessis made fun of him on the microphone. I'm recording this video before the press conference, and I hope that he makes Sean Strickland cry. That's going to be so funny. Dude, what fighter do you know that is on a crying streak? Like, you have the toughest guys in the entire world sitting at a press conference, and Dricus du Plessis is trash-talking so good that these guys legitimately cry. You make Israel Adesanya cry, you make Sean Strickland cry. You make two of the toughest people on this entire planet cry. That's hilarious. I need to develop trash talk skills like that over video games, man. Like, because that's incredible, okay? Leonard had this to say about it. What a champ. They talk crap and he remains humble, looking for another successful defense against Sean before losing the belt to the Wolf. I don't even think that he's going to lose the belt to it. You know how DDP is going to lose the belt, man? He's going to lose the belt to somebody that just, where it, in the Dricus du Plessis fashion, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Let me actually, you know what? I'm going to bring up the UFC rankings. Let's see. Excuse me for just a second, guys, because it's going to be somebody who shouldn't beat him, okay? Shouldn't beat him at all. I have the UFC rankings up here. Let me bring you over to the full screen. Sorry for a little bit of pause over here. So the athlete rankings, okay? Where is middleweight? Let me bring you, boom, let's do that, okay? Sean Strickland, no. Israel Adesanya, great fighters. Cal Brajo, he's going to lose to Marvin Vettori. Something like that. Marvin Vettori is going to get the win over Roman Dolidze, and then Marvin Vettori is somehow going to be the guy to beat him. Okay? Nothing else is going to make sense. Maybe like a Michelle Pereira. Somebody that just, I don't know. If Bilal Muhammad or Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev's talking about moving up and fighting DDP. If he actually gets up there and fights DDP, it just has to be one that makes no sense. But legitimately, like, I do think if he moved up to 205, he'd have problems with a couple guys that he might crash with up there. But regardless, like, I don't know who the hell is going to beat that man right now. I'm not even confident the Wolf doing it, okay? Let's continue on to championship rounds again. GFL founder Darren Owen says a fight between Tony Ferguson and Dylan Dennis could come to fruition. We can make the fights that the people want to see, and we're listening to everybody. Tony Ferguson versus Dylan Dennis, that may be something that will come to fruition. Excuse me. Am I crazy in saying this is a fight that Tony Ferguson could win? Like, that would be some fun. Like, speaking of press conferences, Dylan Dennis, like, I know that like we have what we all have to say about Dylan Dennis as a fighter, but he can bring it on the mic, okay? Gladiator MMA had this to say about it. This would undoubtedly be the goofiest fight in MMA history and could put a huge damper on Tony's historic career if he somehow continues the losing streak. Now, there is no more dampering Tony Ferguson's career because his losing streak is beyond awful, okay? Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like, there is no saving that. Unfortunately, you're going to have to cope a little bit harder. Got that dog. MMA had this to say. Finally, a fight Tony can win. I'm totally down for this. Like, it really does feel like it. And I feel bad for Dylan Dennis because kind of goes to show what people think of him. Oh, I just looked at the next topic. Have you guys seen this? Okay, check this out, okay? Ariel Helwani. To be honest, when I get a haircut, I kind of get horny a little bit. This is Israel Adesanya prior to the fight that we just watched, okay? You guys got to check this clip out, man. It is wild. Let's go.
I kind of get horny a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Because to be honest, when I get a haircut, I kind of get horny a little bit. So I start to like venture outside. So it was nice to just stay inside and not try and be slick.
Did you hear the same thing I heard? I can't believe like he just goes out there and spats these kinds of things like it's nothing.
Just work. So yeah, I've been working, man. And the haircut was or lack of a haircut was a show of it.
Can I ask about that sensation? You get the haircut and you get free.
I love the way Ariel phrases it too. Could I ask about that sensation? Like, dude, come on.
What is that? You look so good in the mirror that you just want to go out there on the town?
It's not me. It's not me, man. It's just
it's not me, he said. He said it's not me.
I was just saying as it is, but like just, every man knows when you get a haircut, you start looking different, you start feeling different, you start walking different. Hey Tim, you know what I'm saying?
But that's not what he said though. He says when I get a haircut, I feel horny. That's not what he said. There's a difference between looking at yourself and going like, oh yeah, like my haircut looks really good. Like, this is the stuff that makes like the whole fan base believe the Adesanya dog stuff.
Yeah, you just like
Yes.
You ever wonder if Ariel actually finds that funny, or if he's just like going along with it? But crazy. That's the gist of it. Okay, you you stayed on the subject a lot longer than necessary. Ariel knew that there's gonna be clips to come from that. His barber seeing this, literally. Like, could you imagine? Hey, what do you think about that haircut? I feel horny. Like, it's wild that, like, the stuff that this dude says, and it's just like another day to him, you know? All right, this dude's a weirdo. I don't want to know what makes you horny, especially if it's dogs, right? Like, and I still can't believe that he actually posted that with his dog. Like, unbelievable. But let's continue on to something that I'm surprised that this didn't make the rounds more than it did. Happy Punch posted this. UFC fighter Brian Ortega traveled to choke out a guy for talking crap on Fortnite. He pulled up to him on work. This is weird. You're getting a lot of comments. Like, you get a lot of mixed comments on this one because if someone's talking trash to you over a video game, it's part of it. Are you really going to pull up to their job and just wait for them to get off? Like, Brian Ortega's lucky this dude was chill. Check this clip out.
A lot of people ask me, hey, play with me on Fortnite, cool. Only problem is you guys be talking mad, you know what? The real reason why I flew to North Carolina was because he was talking shit. We made a bet. I said, bro, I'll fly over there and choke you out. Here he is. I showed up.
And you can tell, like, this dude was just, obviously is a little bit uncomfortable, right? I think this is just cringe. Like, I hate it. I don't think it's funny. And I think Brian Ortega is a weirdo for it.
Job. Had to wait for him to finish his job. I'm gonna choke your ass out. Well, that's a bet.
So he waited for him to finish his day at work because he flew out there and he wanted to choke him out for talking crap on Fortnite. That's just what happens in video games. Like, man.
Hey, dog, bet's a bet?
Yeah.
You gonna go to sleep?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. That way I know when you go to sleep. You're out.
And so, of course, he went to sleep, right?
He's out.
Then, like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. He is so lucky that this dude was chill. He is so lucky. And look at Brian Ortega's grin over there. Like, he feels like he accomplished something. Just woke up. Huh? What'd he say?
I took a nap, man. Oh, fucking shit felt weird, man.
Now, you know what I wonder? I wonder if he's gonna cheer for Brian Ortega in his next fight, or if he's gonna like pray on Brian Ortega's downfall. Is he sitting there like, okay, a UFC fighter actually came out to see me. That's pretty funny. I got in a game with a UFC fighter. Or is he like, is this dude seriously just filming me right now to choke me out? I agree with the top comment, Blaine Henry. This is cringe. It's just weird. I don't get it. Okay. Knockout of the Day posted this and replied, "Pro Brian, so emotional these days. This clip never gets old."
Tracy ain't gonna want you no more. Tracy's done with you.
But this is how we see him reacting in a video game. Like, he actually flew out there to go choke out a guy that was talking crap to him on Fortnite. Here he goes. Emotionally stable Brian Ortega at it again. Brian Ortega really pulled up to this dude's job just to settle Fortnite beef. And, like, yeah, there you go. Savage. Is that really savage, or is it just cringe? I don't know if Brian Ortega has kids, to be honest with you, but yeah. Let's continue on again. The MMA Guru. I saw this personally. Moments before disaster for Israel Adesanya. You're not Holloway. You're not Pereira. Both times he tried to aura farm from TikTok edit, and he was finished within the next 30 seconds. Spent his life pretending to be someone he wasn't, and lost for that very reason. This I don't really understand, to be honest with you, but this is true. Every single time Israel Adesanya is in there, he's trying to make an edit. He's trying to be a main character. He's trying to get those solid edits. You know what I find more funnier than anything, guys, is when, like, they did this to Kamaru Usman a lot. When he would walk forward, like, making a ridiculously tough face, like, snarling against somebody, like, giving, like, you know, just, yeah, I'm the big dog around here. And then they clip that, they post clown music, and it's like, bro thought we were going to edit him. I don't know why people don't do that to Adesanya more, and they do it to other fighters, like Usman and Masvidal, for example. But Israel Adesanya, look, how could you do this? Be your own person. Make up your own thing. Israel Adesanya pointing to the ground. You aren't Holloway. Israel Adesanya pushing the ref away. Like, he really did that. He really, really did that. He pushed the ref away like Pereira would. That is beyond cringe compared to, like, what we just saw of Brian Ortega. That's crazy, man. Like, Be your own person. Like, Israel Adesanya can have his own edits. And, like, he's done some great stuff. I'll always say, like, as much as I'm not a fan of Izzy, that celebration he did against Pereira when he knocked him out, gold. That was hilarious. What he did to Costa, hilarious. You can do your own stuff, but now he tries to aura farm. He tries to get like clips going around about him on TikTok, and he just ends up paying for it. It's so true. Time for retirement. He's been knocked out too many times now in a relatively short period of time. Still one of the greats. Can't take anything away from him. I don't know, man. He lost to the 3 best fighters in the division. So I don't see an issue with that personally. Like, I know it's not technically the best 3 fighters, but he lost the top 5 fighters. And he did look good in a couple of those performances, man. So I don't think it's time for Adesanya to retire, but I do think he's on his downfall. In response to Guru says an overweight grub with 0 life achievement. I don't understand how you can say 0 life achievement for somebody like Guru. And sorry, I just laughed at the reply over there. That not funny. Sorry. YouTube, I'm grateful to be on your platform over here. Just it's a nice thing to say, but you could have worded that better, okay? Regardless, the MMA Guru has accomplished so much more than probably you, me, or anybody watching his videos. He accomplished as much as a UFC fighter or Israel Adesanya. No, but the dude is sitting pretty for money, and he gets to yap about MMA for a living. I think that's something that is incredibly admirable. People look at him all the time like he's just some no-life sitting down. But regardless, let's continue on. TJ Dillashaw says that Garbrandt would be Merab's toughest fight. You guys got to check this out because this is really, really something. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah. Who you think would be his toughest war, or his toughest opponent?
I'd like to see Garbrandt fight him eventually once Garbrandt gets a couple wins back under his belt.
Now, I actually really, really like this. And if you're interested in why, we did make an entire video talking about it, breaking down the style. I would love to have you over at that video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care.